What is up, guys? Tommy from SoFlo Jeeping here. A little bit more of a light-hearted video today. So today we're going to be going over 10 types of JKs you might find when you're out and about. If you're on this list, don't take it too personally. It's all in good fun. So the first type of JK owner you will definitely find when you're out and about is the stock JK owner. Stock JK owner can come in all shapes and sizes, from the high schooler who just got their first Jeep to the soccer mom who just wants to drive their kids to soccer practice, to the guy who's just having a midlife crisis and wants to relive his glory days back when he drove a CJ7 in high school. Nothing wrong with a stock JK owner, just don't expect them to be as crazy about the hobby as we are, because they just have a Jeep because they just wanted a Jeep as their daily driver. They didn't really want a Jeep for the Jeep lifestyle. Next type of JK owner you will find is the basic JK guy. You've all seen them. Usually the basic JK guy forms as the guy who buys a Jeep, goes straight to his local 4-wheel parts and just says, I want a lift, I want 35s, I want wheels, just whatever you have, I want it. I just want a lifted Jeep. I don't care what you put as long as it drives nice and I have a lifted Jeep. Basic JK guy can usually be found on usually a mid-tier, not terrible, but not fantastic, just usually mid-tier, 4-inch lift, 35-inch all-terrains, probably some 18s, some cool-looking 18s. Nothing crazy, not really enthusiast brands, just brands that work, and they are happy. They like their lifted Jeep. They don't care that 40s are the new 35s. They're happy with their 4-inch lift and 35s. An enthusiast level, they'll probably fall somewhere between typical Jeeper like me and you and the stock JK guy. They like their Jeep. They'll maybe talk to you at a gas station, but they're not going to come out to a Jeep event. They're probably not going to go crazy wheeling. They just like having their lifted Jeep. Next type of Jeep that you will definitely find, especially if you're from South Florida, is the speaker Jeep. If you're at a Jeep event, you start to feel vibrations in the floor, then you found your speaker Jeep. They usually travel in herds. You'll rarely find one alone, but you can feel them when you feel the floor start vibrating. You follow that vibration, you'll find a Jeep that's got the window open. They've got speakers on their window somehow, steel window, they just put speakers. Don't know how they managed that, but then they open the trunk and it's just a wall of speakers. They get rid of any visibility, blind spot, what? As long as they can fit more speakers, they are doing their job, and they will not let you have a conversation because you need to hear their speakers. Next is the JK truck guy. The JK truck guy is the guy who really wanted a Jeep truck and wishes they could have seen the future and known that if they would have just waited a few years, they could have bought a Gladiator and not spent all that money on the brute double cab. JK truck guy varies all the way from the super high dollar 6.4 Hemi brute double cab all the way down to the guy that just did an action truck conversion in his garage, to somewhere in the middle, the guy that found a JK8 at a dealership and paid way too much for it. JK truck guy is always going to grab attention. We all love to see them regardless of the Gladiator. We will always find a JK truck really cool, but at this point most of us would just go ahead and buy the Gladiator. Next Jeep is one you have definitely seen on Instagram and definitely you geek out over whenever you see them in person. That is just the high dollar, meticulous, perfect JK build. This is the Jeep that you look underneath and you see the Genrite Elite suspension paired with your dream crate axles that you only wish you could afford. You lift the hood and you're going to find a 392 or an LS3 or an LSA or maybe even a supercharger. Open the door and you're going to find a completely powder-coated Genrite cage, PRP everything, PRP wheel, PRP seats, PRP harness, everything on the inside is PRP. Dash has got that $2,000 Alpine radio that we all tell ourselves is too expensive to be reasonable, but we all kind of wish we had it. We're extremely jealous of the fact they just are driving through the street, no trails, burning through their stickies. We'd love to talk crap about him, but we all really wish we could be driving that Jeep. Now, next is the Overland JK. Now, this is the guy who bought a JK Rubicon with all the bells and whistles because he wanted to get out, and now he wishes he would have bought a 4Runner. Overland JK guy can usually be found rhino rack on the roof, the fanciest rooftop tent money can buy, awning on the side. You open up that trunk and you're going to find a $2,000 drawer system. You're going to find an ARB fridge freezer on the top. Usually they'll have pulled out their rear seats for more drawer space. They'll have every bit of fancy recovery your money can buy. AEV wherever they can put in, ARB wherever they can't put AEV. They've got the bumper, they've got the 12S Platinum up front. They've got the full set of bubble ropes or ARB kinetic straps. They've got more electronics on the dash than you can even count. We love to give them a little crap for their excessive amount of Instagram pictures and the fact that they really only go places for Instagram pictures. But we are all a little bit jealous of just the sheer comfort that they go out in. The next is the real off-roader daily Jeep guy. Now this is the guy that's the core of the Jeep community. A lot of us can relate to this. This is the guy like you and me that are just trying to wheel a Jeep on the weekend but still have to drive to work during the week. The sort of daily wheeler Jeep guy, usually be found 37s, 4-inch lift, maybe lower if they're really going for that low center of gravity life. Nowadays, nice stubby bumpers, tight fenders, maybe even a set of junkyard axles, 2-door, maybe a little stretch. These aren't the guys that are just going with top dollar everything. They're going with the best bang for the buck. Brands like Moto Built, JCR, like quality brands that aren't crazy priced. These are the parts that you'll find on the daily wheeler sort of, I guess the middle class of the Jeep community. Guys who like to play, but can't really be the high dollar Jeep build they want to be. The next type of JK guy you will find at first will almost look like a speaker Jeep, then you realize the floor is not shaking. Now this is the Semajeep. This is the guy who just wants to grab your attention and do nothing else, regardless if you're a Jeep person, truck person. These guys usually migrate from the truck scene and want to try something else. Usually you'll find the Semajeep with usually some pretty generic suspension, maybe a rough country long arm kit, but with thousands of dollars in powder coating. They've got 26-inch massive American Force wheels with rubber bands wrapped around them. Everything is color matched Angry Grill, color matched EAG bumpers. Inside is just thousands of dollars and just fancy stitching. They've got the big Alpine radio or the big iPad looking thing, the Android one. They've got the digital dash. They've got all the little bells and whistles that all of us find kind of unnecessary, but they grab attention and that is their goal, so that's why they have it. Next is the Amazon Overload. We always like to give this JK crap, but a lot of times it just comes from a place of not really knowing what the trends are, what the brands are. This is the guy that got a Jeep, started hanging around with a couple Jeep people, saw the really big builds, they saw, not really knowing what the different brands were, all they saw were, this Jeep has bumpers, armor, lift, wheels, tires, and I want what that Jeep has. And they just pull up their Amazon app and they just start clicking, and before they know it, they've got an EAG bumper, they've got a Badlands winch, they've got EAG rear bumper, they've got some step slider things that'll probably get hung up on stuff, they've got some knockoff seat covers, they've got grab handles everywhere, grab handles in the corner, grab handles on the side, grab handles on the steering wheel. They've got grab handles everywhere. They've got more lights than they know what to do with. The wiring's probably a mess, but they've got the dual pods, the light bar, and not a single part of that build just exceeded $500 down to the Ironman tires. We'd like to give them crap. A lot of times they just don't know. Let's just try to educate those guys in the nicest way possible, and maybe one day they'll become the daily wheeler Jeeper. The last JK owner you will find is truly a spectacle to see. This is the guy that really wishes he would have bought a buggy, or even really wishes he would have built a TJ. Started with a JK and he just kept on modifying it, and beating on it. And before he knew it, it was cut in half with more tubes than he could count. The only thing JK left on the JK beater is just a grill, hood, fenders, and maybe some doors. This is the guy that will destroy Dana 60s somehow, usually running some 43-inch TSLs on some beadlocks that look like they've been through a blender 20 times, full hydro, ORIs or coilovers, some beefy links that are all bent. This is the guy that just does not care and just wants to beat their crap beat the crap out of their Jeep on some super slick trails, and we'd love to watch them do it. So those are 10 JK guys you will find out and about. Again, if you're on this list, don't take it too seriously. Just made to give people a good laugh. And admittedly, we're all guilty of something on probably more than one of these lists. All in all, don't take it too seriously. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like if you want to like, comment if you want to comment, subscribe if you want to subscribe. If I miss a type of JK owner, let me know. I'd love to criticize that one too.